Hi there, welcome to Watch of Realms. Today we're looking at, is it really worth summoning for Eivor, as you see here. We're going to be checking out her kit, skills and some of the stats to see, does she really stand out? A collaboration hero and quite a rare one, which may not come back ever again, so you've got to take that into consideration. What is interesting is how you can obtain her. So you've got the guaranteed summon here out of 200, but then you've also got the special divine summons. So you could do a little bit of both to spread the resources if that's what you wanted. It is important to acknowledge that coming up, there will be another back-to-back 200 summons. So similar to the format here with Bayek of Siwa from AC Origins. Now, you've got to take this into mind. If you have Nyx, if you have Van Helsing, AoE DPS marksman, you're not going to miss out as much if you don't have Bayek. If you want to put all your resources into Eivor, feel free to do so. But just be aware that after Bayek, you've got Evie Fry from Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and she could well be another 200 summons. So really, there's a lot going on. If you wanted to guarantee all three of them, and if you didn't have any luck as in obtaining them early into these summons, probably need about 600 blue crystals. Do you have 600 rare summoning crystals? You may be able to obtain more through these events as it lasts for about a month or so, but not all these banners will last for a month. So it will be time limited still. You got Malvera on the left if you wanted her. She's a good defender. Even awakening her is worthwhile. We will look at the stats as said with Eivor, but it's just looking at it here on screen, because even if someone is good, if there is someone better afterwards or just as good, how do you go about this? Do you go for copies, dupes, or what? Normally, when it comes to an exclusive limited banner, a little bit different to this, where you guaranteed it in 200 summons, but in those circumstances, the Kagiri banner, the Dao Chan, or Choose Your Own Limited, if you pulled them early before your 200 summon, whether that be your 10 pull, whether that be your 20th pull, 75 pulls in, 100 pulls in, if you get them early, it's game over. That's it. You summon any more, such as to the 200 mark, you're not guaranteed to get them. That's only like a safety cap buffer. So if you're very unlucky all the way, as soon as you get to 200, you're guaranteed. That's like how it is here. However, specifically with Eivor, if you really wanted an A1, if you're lucky to pull her before the 200 summon, it means on your 200 summon, you will get a free one. Hence why it's got a tick down there for me. I wasn't able to get a first copy early on, so I got it in the guaranteed 200 summons. I did summon past that point, and I did use about 7,000 to 8,000 diamonds, if not more, and I wasn't lucky. I pulled 2 copies of Malvera, which not really of my interest. So the pull rate is quite terrible, as expected, similar to the typical exclusive limited banners. So if you do manage to get Eivor earlier on, be aware that you are guaranteed to get the A1 if you continue to the 200 mark. Just be aware that Bayek will be coming up next. So where do you prioritize? Do you want an attacker unit or do you want AoE DPS marksman? I said, depending what roles and areas you already have in the game, that can be considered as well. So let's take a look at them right now to see if they're worthwhile. They're a fighter, normal damage, visually looks really nice with the 2 axes. When you think of dual weld and throwing weapons out, kind of reminds me of Ardea, in a way, but a better version in some ways. Single target, physical attack, defense penetration, offensive dispel, which is quite unique. Offensive Dispel. This is something you could use in the Titanic Ruins 1 or 2, because when it gets to the shield phase, you can strip it away. So if you didn't have Talon as a marksman tile unit, if you didn't have, I forgot the name, the guy with like the forearms, the fat one with the poison. If you didn't have him, well then Eivor can do that job. They're a part of the Watcher Northerner faction, so that's actually really good. Northerner has received more attention in recent time, and you think of the faction trials as well, would really help here. Watcher, for all good round for PvE content. You could say Arena as well, but we'll be reviewing Eivor when it comes to the Arena in a separate video. So, what else do we have? Skin-wise, it completely transforms her. It's a nice skin, but it takes it away from who she's supposed to be, a Viking, like a Viking assassin. This just looks like a generic knight. Really good, the skin, but it just doesn't match. That's the only problem. The Cassandra skin does look better, and it's actually more fitting. I don't know if you've seen it or not. Awakenings, managed to get it to A1. Bestial Fury effect upgraded. When this effect reaches full stacks, the hero also gains 1 stack of blood bounty. For every 1 basic attack, when the ultimate is activated, instantly gains full stacks of Bestial Fury effect. So I guess this helps regenerate quicker. Stacks up to 5 times when the ultimate is not activated. After reaching 5 stacks, each additional stack gained restores an extra 8% max rage to the hero. So basically, allowing you to recharge quicker, which will help when it comes to doing the ultimate and doing more damage overall. Activating the ultimate, each stack increases the hero's final damage during the ultimate by 8%. Okay. And when you think of those, when you see those stacks in game, it's like 4 or 5 symbols of axes. So ideally, you want to wait for it to fully charge up and then activate the ultimate. At least that's what I do. And it's kind of like that with Cassandra as well. When you get the full bars, you're able to do more damage, double in that case. So really, if you're going to awaken, if you get her early in those summons, you're still guaranteed out of 200 as well, to at least A1. A3, when Axe Tempest is triggered, 25% chance to simultaneously throw 2 axes instead. During the ultimate, the trigger chance increases to 40%. Because it's 40%, it's not guaranteed. If it was worded as during the ultimate phase, it's guaranteed, then I would say go for A3. But I don't think it's worth going for that under these conditions, considering what's ahead, as in Bayek and Evie Fry, which could be an interesting one in the background. So it might be worth holding off there. I mean, if you've got unpolished legendary crystals for this awakenings, you could use it here. Or maybe more so for an ancient legendary like Cassandra. Okay? Let's take a look at the information. As for their range, it's not great. However, their ultimate range is a lot better. And when they throw the 2 axes out or the 1 axes out here and there, it's within the ultimate range. So that does help at least. They are 17 cost, so I think on par with Kagiri. So if you're going to use an arena, you'd be able to fit them in. But would you really choose Eivor over Kagiri? Probably not. But there's still their uses elsewhere. Definitely like a boss killer, clan boss specialist, in my opinion. Physical attack, 100% damage to 1 enemy. So, what we'll do just quickly, just so you can see it with the skills upgraded as well. I do have her back here. Just there. This is the gear that I've currently got. Supposedly, because of the basic attacks being a focus, using Infernal Roar, basic attack damage 40%. Now, I think at some point they're releasing some new gear, which may be a step up to Infernal Roar. So be on the lookout for that. Let's just return back to here. When maxed out, 120% damage to one enemy. That's pretty standard. Bestial Fury, what we saw earlier with the Awakenings. Each basic attack reduces the subsequent basic attack interval by 2%. So more attacks put in quicker. And it provides a 2% damage reduction. And that stacks up to 12 times. Okay. Not too bad. Well, 24% attack interval, 24% damage reduction, and it lasts for 10 seconds. When this hero reaches full stacks, the hero also gains 1 stack of blood bounty for every 2 basic attacks. As you see there. I mean, when you look at these new legendaries, you don't, well, this particular one, you don't have any arena specialist talents or no bonds. You know what? I don't know if it's just me, but don't you think there should be like some bond skills, especially by now, late into this game of Watch Your Realms with all the new heroes that come along? Look at Lady Mina. They had like 2 bond skills. Dracula, Vlad had bond skills. I think maybe Van Helsing may have done as well. How come these don't? Because they're all assassins. They kind of work together as a unit. Why can't they have a bond? I don't know if I'm missing anything, unless it may be on... Is it on Cassandra? No. What's going on? I think that's a missed opportunity. Let me know in the comment section if you agree. Axe Tempest, passive. Every 20 seconds, the next basic attack throws an axe at targets within the ultimate range instead. So, time interval, big space in between them, unfortunately, but it's guaranteed. So you want it to happen more often, you'd have to awaken it to A3, which is like a 15 to 25% chance, whatever it said. Within the ultimate range, that does help. The axe can bounce 2 times, dealing 270% damage. 2 times, 2 lots of 270%. That's pretty nice. And it dispels 1 buff from target's hit. So that can definitely help in boss content, certain boss content at least, where you can take away a buff, so like a shield one in Titanic Ruins. When there are no ground enemies within basic attack range, this skill's cooldown recovers 100% faster. The axe prioritizing enemies with lower max HP, and its damage multiplier against enemies with HP below 50% is increased by 33%. So that's kind of like a reverse, because you think of the Chaos Dominion faction, you got someone like Dracula, Valderon, but they can do more damage when they lose health, sacrifice health for more damage, whereas in this case, it's as long as the enemy's got less health, you're going to be doing more damage, so you can kill them quicker. Can help with these clutch moments, but then again, you're not really using Eivor for Arena. I have tested, but I'll show you what it is like when using them. And then just up here, we might as well acknowledge it, the talent Immune to Stun. Now, that could be really good for certain areas in Immortal Codex. You know, when, I can't remember the name of it, that woman where it splits off with 2 enemies and then there's a stun mechanic there. Yeah, could be quite good, this clutch in saving the rest of your team. Upon killing an enemy target, gains 1 stack of blood bounty. When gaining blood bounty, has a 20% chance to grant a shield equal to 20% of the hero's attack to the hero and all adjacent allied heroes for 10 seconds. Shame it's, limited to 10 seconds and it's not like lasting until it's damaged through the enemy. 20% chance, so it's not something you can really rely on. Shield strength granted to the hero by this effect is doubled. During the ultimate, automatic consumes 2 stacks of blood bounty to cast an extra Axe Tempest. Axe Tempest cast this way inflicts vulnerability damage. Physical damage taken 20% more. On hit, but cannot dispel the target's buffs. And last but not least, Odin's Wrath. 700 cost, that's pretty good. Lasts for 20 seconds, really nice. The actual range, really good. Whilst active, all attacks ignore 60% of the target's defense. Yeah, that's pretty good. You think of marksmen like Silas, what he can do, about 50% ignore, if you're not including the bond with Vienna, because that's an extra on top. But 60% base, that's pretty good, a little bit more than Silas. The hero restores 6% max HP when her basic attack deals damage. A little bit of survivability as well. Like, at the end of the day, it does look a little bit plain and empty. Do you know, like when you see it on screen, you don't have like lots of bond skills or lots of extra little passives here and there. Not too wordy either. Because sometimes when you get these ancient ones and lords, it's very wordy and long. But it doesn't need to be on this occasion, because I have used Eivor. And, well, so it can't be a solo boss killer. When I was using them in the clan boss with this particular gear, they were getting over 1 million damage for a single hit here and there. No, okay, maybe you got Kagiri and you got Wukong, but there's always room for Eivor. And if you don't have Kagiri or Wukong, you could definitely go for Eivor, I would say. And in this case, you don't have to awaken them to A5 for them to be really good. At A0, which I have, they're good enough. A1 or A3, even better. Because you've got to take that into mind. The resources cost ratio to the practicality of them and the demand for what level they need to be awakening-wise. Kagiri and Wukong, for them to be really good, they have to be A3, if not A5. But for Eivor, because it's not relying on PvP, just PvE mainly, A0 is good enough. So if that's what you do, then you've still got summons left over to spend elsewhere. So I hope that does help. Leave a comment down below what you think of Eivor, if you've used her or not, and how your summons have gone up to now. If you'd like to know how my summons went for Eivor and Cassandra, they're already on my channel. Be sure to check out on the channel page. That being said for now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.